This is my journey from 0 to 100K in my creative one-person business in just 12 months. I'm sharing everything I learned, documenting the process so that you can learn something and hopefully be inspired to do the same. So let's dive in. I'm sharing how exactly I'm growing my business, but really through the everyday experiments, the mental frameworks, and just like the actionable insights that are just really helping me get things to work, because we do all these things that don't work, and when we find something that works, we're doubling down. So I'm trying to inspire you. We're on to July, so it's been a wild ride this month. I had a lot of fun, and I also called in some really big shifts in life. So in this transmission, I'm gonna be sharing some big shots that I took in my business, the skills that I learned to help me get there, a story about being honest versus $35,000, how to claim a bigger vision for your life, and exactly how much money I made this month. So let's get into it. This is what I made this month, so I'll show you things that I worked on physically. This was a cool cocktail table for a great client in town. Really fun, actually thinking about turning it into a product because it's something that you can't find anywhere on the internet. That's why she hired me to do it, make this custom table. Got to bend this steel in a circle, love that stuff. Made myself something, made this cool roof rack out of steel with a smiley face and a rooftop deck, amazing. And started designing and working on these this big project for handrails and having so much fun because the clients have this really cool space. They're open to me doing whatever the heck that I want because they trust my design. So it's like, oh, amazing. And then working on this hostess stand for a restaurant up the coast in Carmel. So with that being said, those are things I'm working on. I want to speak to the big opportunities in my life and speak to how we can start to relate to big opportunities from a place of integrity so that we are able to really take them head on. So, first things first, you will only receive what you believe you're worthy of receiving. I know it's cliche, it might be out there in the self-help world, but this truly is where most people are stuck playing small. Because it doesn't matter how much you try to put yourself out there, if you're still operating from fear, a deep-seated fear of not being good enough, of all the insecurities that you have, of fear of judgment, and people are maybe don't see you for who you are you tall enough, smart enough, pretty enough, intelligent enough, creative enough, all those things. And also like the deep fear of scarcity. If you're operating from that place, you're only going to survive from a lens of just trying not to lose. You're not playing to win. So you're never gonna create the life, relationships, or business you desire. So I've been on this journey for a long time, and this last 2 months have been really profound for me. So I've just started claiming big opportunities into my life because I felt it in my body. I felt fully open and ready to face the challenges that I am required to walk through in order to entertain big opportunity. And I'm just really sitting with that and believing it and just being being in my confidence and like my masculinity to be able to go out there, co-create those opportunities, miracles, and experiences, and just open myself to whatever might happen inside of that. And so 2 weeks later, I literally got a call for a huge project from a potential client, speaking the language that I love to hear, and it's funny, and I'll come back to this, but that happened while I was on a road trip, and this is important. I was treating myself to some new experiences. So long story short, set up a site visit, go check out a project, amazing home, super contemporary. It's like 5 different projects in one. Everything's custom designed, everything's one-off. And the clients are so intentional. They spent time drawing details and wanting to collaborate, and they were really generous. They're giving me fruits that they're growing and all this. And we grounded the investment at about $35,000. We were all in all, I was there for like 4.5 hours. It was a 2-hour visit. I had to leave, go somewhere else to another meeting and come back. That's how intentional this time was and how also aligned it felt to be having conversation for that long. So I was really transparent that, hey, I can do this in about a month, and it actually all needs to be done in a month. And this really excited them, but the reason being, as I expressed, because I'm moving out of my shop and I'm gonna be traveling in the meantime. So we'll come back to that, but I wrote up a proposal and sent it over the next day. $35,000 was our agreed upon price, which is a pretty big project for me. I hadn't really thrown out a number that big that I actually felt like I was going to get the project for a while. So yeah, I had the full transparency that this has to be done by August, and it was crickets for 5 days. Then I got a call, and the call was disclosing how much they truly valued my honesty and my transparency, but that on their end, the level of intentionality that they've been taking with this process, because they've been chewing on these details for months and months and months, that they just didn't feel now was the time to rush and to put a deadline on that. And I thought that was really, really beautiful, even though it was obviously painful to receive that, like, oh man, I really wanted that. It was an amazing feeling in my body, like, wow, like I stood in my honesty. And so I want to talk about the wisdom I learned from that, So I really want to ask that question, like, what does integrity feel like to you? Does it feel like bending your boundaries? Does it feel like people pleasing? And does it feel like sacrificing your values in the name of getting more money? For me, it used to be like that, but not anymore, right? So I really value honesty, vulnerability, and commitment to growth. And so I expect the same from my clients. And in this case, I led with the honesty, the integrity of, this is what I need and how I would have to do it. If you can meet me here, great. If not, that's all right too, because we're clear about that. And so they followed with honesty. And like I said, it was a sting to lose out on $35,000, but I like to imagine like what becomes available when you become a stand for your values, your integrity and authenticity, even when it means saying no to a project of money, something that's, a short-term desire, immediate gratification, whatever that means. Like, what starts to brew because of that alignment, Like, if you can stand in your integrity and not bend your boundaries and try to please other people to get more money, imagine what happens, one, in your system, your confidence, but how life is then going to meet you like, wow, this person's really in integrity. Let's pay attention to this guy. So to come back to this first site visit, while I was checking out that project, I actually got an email from another prospect and I set up a meeting for the next day. That next morning I woke up and I was doing my breath work and I was like, today I'm bringing in $10,000. I just know it. I feel it in my body. Like, it's true. I feel it. We're here, I'm caught up in time. I'm in my body. So I checked out the project. I'm like, this is great. It's going to be $10,000. Without hesitation, she's like, all right, how much do you need to start? And she just wrote me a check right then and there. So truly, like, integrity, honesty, being in alignment with your values is the highest leverage skill you can learn. Because if it doesn't manifest in the thing you think you want it to manifest in, there's something even better right behind that. And for me, I was actually really stoked on this situation because that $35,000 project comparatively would have taken 10 times more work than this $10,000 project that's still involved, but something that is like much more succinct, right? So in a way, it's actually like more high leverage and more return on my investment. So now I want to speak to this idea of waiting and what are you waiting for? Especially, I feel like so many business owners, so many people who are creative are just waiting for the right time, the right circumstances, waiting for more money, waiting for someone to change. And I just want to speak to the eradication of that so you can step into your power, right? And because I'm feeling so straight to the point lately, this is the question I'm asking myself and everybody. Are you going to step into your power today or not? It's crude, but it's really like that, black and white, right? So claiming a bigger vision for your life requires literally only 3 things. To step into your power, to stop waiting, and to start creating and getting into alignment and connection with yourself. Now, much easier said than done. I fully get it. So let's talk about what gets in the way of you claiming the life. This life, the life that you truly desire, the business that you want, the relationships, the X, Y, and Z. Hiding and playing life just not to lose, that's totally keeping you small. Waiting for the future to figure everything out, like one day, the one day syndrome, that's keeping you in this small story of not quite feeling like you're in your potential. And not being connected to your gut, your yes and your no. Like that's integrity, right? Is knowing that line. Being able to say, you know what, like this is what I need, and if you can't meet me in that, that's fine. At least we're honoring each other, right? There's like a really deep self-honor there. And like what we talked about at the beginning, if you don't believe you're worthy of receiving, you're not going to receive. So if you can hold yourself in that self-honor and that integrity, you're immediately opening yourself up to receive so much more. And like I said, whether it's that thing that's right in front of you or something better that's just behind it. So now, like, how to reclaim your connection to self. First and foremost, like we said, how about experiment with surrender to your gut feelings for a week. So this week, just really tune into like what your gut feels. I don't think I should do that. Or like, you know what? Yeah, I will meet you for lunch. Or no, sorry, I can't watch your dog, type of thing. Really tune into that and practice like really listening and taking action upon those things. So think road trips, think going to a new cafe, trying something completely different than you normally do. I just watched an episode of Seinfeld where George Costanza decides that he's done living the way he's living. He's gonna do everything the opposite. And in doing the opposite, he gets a job with the Yankees, a hot girlfriend, all of these things. It's really funny. But what I want to speak about the road trip thing, how earlier I had made this conscious decision that, you know what, I want to be like, I'm getting the feeling that I need to go to fresh water. I need to go just be in my own presence, take myself out type of thing. And I trusted that feeling. And I just took a weekend to really just kind of be in my own pleasure, to really just be like surrounded by beautiful nature and fresh water and good food. And while I was there, literally swimming in a swimming hole, I got back up to my car and I got a voicemail from that big project. You can make whatever meaning you want out of that or not. What I like to believe is, wow, what happens when I'm fully giving to myself? I become a magnet to receive. You know, that's how I felt. Other ways you can really start to connect to yourself is read more. Get more books. I'm reading right now this book, Iron John. If you're a man, amazing book. Please read it. Liberated Love by Mark Groves, to create the love and life you desire. Amazing book. Those are some examples. And then saying no. Like, I can't express, I had no connection to what my boundary or my no was for so long. And in these last few months, I've really been tuning into what that feels like and how to be met there. And it's created so much more abundance in my business. Saying no to, please don't email me or text me after hours. Or like, no, sorry, I need this, I need to be paid in full to begin. Things like that. Just really knowing that line and being confident inside of it. Because when you people please, you're not really in your power, right? You're not fully connected to the life force inside of you that you could be connected to. And I know this sounds sort of emotional and metaphysical, but it's just as fundamental as strategy, right? I try to give you guys strategy and then also the sort of inner strategy, the inner game, because that's actually what's giving me the most results in my business and in my life and things like that. And lastly, embrace intensity. Where you feel intensity and resistance in life, lean into it, dive into it, because there's something so juicy there. And I guarantee if you get connected to yourself, every area of your life is going to respond positively. Lastly, let's get down to the nuts and bolts. Let's recap exactly what went down this month in my business. So, $500 cocktail table, check. $35,000 proposal, but a no-go, a sting, but all right. $10,000 booked for that project, not all received, and a $4,700 proposed hostess stand. Oh, I forgot to talk about that too. Wow, the same thing while I was on that trip and kind of in my pleasure and like really treating myself, I got a call from a designer that said that she wants to work with me. She has a couple pieces she'd like to get done. Let's connect. So again, it's speaking to like becoming a magnet for opportunity when you really, really learn to like trust yourself, honor yourself, and take good care of yourself, right? And then, also a random like $125 from some old earrings that I made. Here's a picture. I made all these redwood earrings. They're at my buddy's coffee shop and I sold a handful of them randomly. He's like, hey, come in. I'll give you a cappuccino and some cash. I'm like, sweet. That's really nothing. But I mean, it was money that came in from my business. So lastly, here's the thing about running a one-person business. You might get paid on the 31st of June and then not again until the 1st of August. That's exactly what happened. So in July, I received $3,125. But I have another $12,200 out there in the ether waiting for me. And August is already exciting. I'm excited to see what happens. Yeah, good stuff brewing. I won't share too much, but it's looking really, really beautiful, embracing all of this change. So a little bit less than last month, but you know what? This is like 95% profit, so I'll take it. That's good to sustain my life for now. And August is looking good already. So I appreciate you all. And I have one last question. What's one thing you've been waiting for, and how long have you been waiting for it? and ask yourself what needs to happen to stop waiting and start creating in that direction today. All right, folks, appreciate you. Have a beautiful one. I'll see you in the next episode. Ciao.